This is ABTV, Animal Bites Television.
Today we're going to get into the urban dinosaurs. Of course, I'm speaking about monitor lizards, and Kevin McCurley here at Nerd has certainly been pioneering this field. This happens to be an albino water monitor named Godzuki. Of course, this is the offspring of the original albino Raz, and this is just an absolutely stunning animal, but also completely tame. Now, Kevin really believes in habituating these monitors to become the best pets as possible. So he's not a hands-off guy whatsoever. As soon as they're born, they start to handle them to try to get them used to humans, which is really awesome because when you have an animal the size of this guy right here, the last thing you want is a mean lizard. And of course, there's a lot of new color mutations that are coming out there, and Kevin's trying to get them all. So we're gonna have a great time looking at these little dinosaurs. It's going to be a fun day.
Monitor lizards. So naturally, I love all sorts of reptiles, and monitors kind of caught me by surprise because I guess my true love, obviously, you know, besides ball pythons, is reticulated pythons, and that's because of their brains. Well, if we step away from snakes and we start looking at lizards, now we're going up to a whole new level of brains.
The first monitor lizards that I ever kept when I was young were Savannah monitors, or in Africa they call them Bach monitors. They're kind of the puppy dog of the monitor world. Sure, those water monitors that Kevin is working with are super dog tame, but you have to put work into them. Whereas Savannah monitors are oftentimes just naturally tame, and they don't get quite as large. I love the really big water monitors, but if you're looking for a monitor that is a little bit more apartment size, but you want something that's still big, Savannah monitors are an awesome option. And of course, what I'm holding here is no normal Savannah monitor. This happens to be an albino Savannah. Now, recently, Kevin has posted some pictures on the web, and some people have been questioning whether or not it's an albino. First off, I'm sitting here holding this thing. This thing has no melanin in it. I've seen a lot of hypo Savannah monitors, and I'm telling you what, this is absolutely not one of those. This is as albino as it gets, and some people may know I brought the first albino Savannah monitors in about 10 or 12 years ago, and unfortunately they perished in the fire with Pro Exotics several years ago. So I'm holding an animal, and I've seen baby albino Savannahs, and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty sure this is an albino Savannah. Unfortunately, this boy has knocked up a couple females, so it won't be long before Kevin proves everyone wrong that's been saying this is an albino. Either way, this thing is stunning.
I'm just like a kid, you know, I'm obsessed with the idea of dinosaurs and large. You know, I want something I can hug, big, impressive, of like, oh my God, you can actually do that with that? You know, it's that kind of thing. Whatever it is, subconsciously instilled in me is really what, you know, one of these things that drive me.
Now this is an impressive animal right here. This, of course, is Simon, the big water monitor. And what's really cool right now that you guys can't experience is the fact that my hand is underneath his chin, and as soon as I start rubbing him, he actually pushes down on me like he wants me to rub him. I mean, now that is a domesticated lizard if I've ever seen one. You could see he just totally loves the attention, and he loves people. And of course, water monitors are one of the largest lizards on the planet, just behind the Komodo dragon. And these strong, powerful claws and that big, thick tail are really not only their defense mechanism, but also their hunting ability. And that super long forked tongue right there is great at smelling, just like he's tasting me right now and saying, what's going on with this guy right here? These guys are not only really great predators and can hunt down small mammals, fish, other lizards, but they're also scavengers, and they have incredible sense of smell and go long distances to find carcasses that they're going to feast on. But as you can see, you know, these guys are super intelligent and can certainly be amazing pets. But again, this isn't something for little Johnny to have in his bedroom. There's no doubt about that. You have to have a large cage and the right ability to keep an animal like this. But to be this close and have this experience is truly breathtaking. This happens to be a Croc monitor. Now these guys are really probably considered the second largest monitor lizard, but it's not so much that their body length, because they typically don't get nearly as heavy bodied as a water monitor, but that tail can sometimes be 6+ foot long, and it's very narrow. Now these guys have unbelievably sharp and powerful claws, but really the dangerous thing about Croc monitors are their teeth. They have razor sharp teeth and they intertwine like this. As a matter of fact, one of the interesting things about Croc monitors is oftentimes if you look in their mouth, there's actually blood on the rim of their mouth. That's because they're constantly cutting their own mouth with their razor sharp teeth. So an animal like this, although it seems to be very docile right now, I wouldn't dare get close to it unless I was 100% sure it was tame, because an animal like this could literally, sever a finger, definitely put you into the hospital. But again, I'm not trying to make these guys out to be monsters, but these aren't necessarily a pet lizard. Now, we certainly know McCurley has one that's dog tame named Max. That's so incredible, and I've worked with it, but that's a 1 in a million animal. This animal here is acting fine with me right now, but trust me, I do not want to be on the business end of that mouth. Not to mention that long whippy tail, that thing could come around and crack me in a second. So I'm going to just kind of leave him alone and just kind of appreciate how beautiful it is.
I kind of looked at them a little bit differently. When other people were like looking at them, maybe because it's a big, cool lizard, I started looking at them and I'm like, I see something in their brains, and I see like I can develop this like little relationship in this thing, and I can make it act not like what you think it's supposed to act.
I tell you what, guys, sometimes Mother Nature just throws something at you and you go, what in the world is that? And this animal is one of them to me. Of course, it's a blue tree monitor. And you sort of think to yourself, like, how can an animal out there be blue? It's just such a bizarre thought, but this happens to be my favorite of all the monitor lizards. And there's actually a few colors of tree monitors. There's black ones, yellow ones, and even green ones. And of course, then there's the blue ones. Now, this is pretty much an adult animal here, so it's nothing like the giants that we've been looking at for the last, little bit in this show. These guys are typically insectivores, although they will eat small rodents. And of course, in the wild, they're also going to eat lizards. There has been some pretty good success in breeding these guys now, and the babies come out about that big and are absolutely adorable. This guy here will hopefully father a clutch in the next year or so, and maybe I'll have to get some for my own collection. This little monkey here is named Rune, and it's a black dragon, which is basically a melanistic water monitor. Now, what's going on with these guys is it is a recessive mutation, so you can produce more of them, obviously, but they're actually from a specific locality. So what probably happened was at some time there was a mutant that came out black, and it actually thrived in the wild because the camouflage wasn't an issue. Obviously, absorbing the sun was a good thing. So when a mutation turns out to be a relatively viable option in the wild, oftentimes you'll find a population that's 100% that mutation. And that's basically what happened with these guys like Ruin, is that there's a whole locality of water monitors now that are basically being found in that one particular locality. I've heard it's actually like an island locality as well. Nevertheless, these black dragons are absolutely gorgeous. And again, when they get really big, like some of the other monitors that we've seen so far, you can only imagine how impressive an animal like that is. And you can see she's completely habituated to humans, just wants to hang out. She's basically using me like a tree and just hanging out with me. But again, when she gets 50 or 100 pounds, she's probably not gonna be climbing on me like this without me complaining a little bit. But Ruin is an absolute beauty.
It's one thing just to react to, oh, I've made this very pretty animal. But it's another thing when you watch how they react because of the way the animal's acting. So the animal, just for being itself, I don't care even what the paint job is. It could be, just blasé, wild type water monitor, but its personality can almost replace an intensity of pattern and color.
Guys, I am just totally in love with this animal right now. This happens to be a T-positive albino water monitor named Jast. And I just cannot get over how gorgeous it is. I've seen it when they were bigger, and although they're still extremely beautiful when they're larger, they do dull out a little bit. As you can see with Jast, I mean, you still see that really purple coming through that tyrosine does. And of course, just an amazingly gorgeous animal. I can tell you this much, she's got some really sharp claws, and she's digging into me pretty good right now. And that's the one thing about monitors, is that their claws are so sharp so that they can climb that sometimes when you get done handling them, you'll end up bleeding and you didn't even know that they got into you very much. But regardless, Jas is still an amazingly tame animal, but she's just using me as a tree, and as she's doing, she's digging those claws in. But this is a recessive mutation, and of course Kevin's been producing more and more of these guys, so you can see these on the market at some time pretty soon. Basically, how they keep their monitors so tame here at Nerd is through socialization, especially when they're fresh babies. And so the technique is basically to continue to reinforce that you're not going to harm them in any way. So one of the techniques would be to kind of just slowly go in and rub right there. And once they jump up, you just rub them again, kind of almost rewarding them. And as you can see, this guy is totally chill. He just wants to come hang out with me. And you can basically do that with pretty much any of these guys if you continue to reinforce them that it's okay to jump up on you, and you never want to actually grab them. So not only are the babies being imprinted on this socialization, but also generation after generation they seem to be becoming a little bit more habituated. These happen to be 4th generation animals, and again you can kind of see, look at that, he just wants to jump right up on me like that and just hang out with me. You can only imagine that when this animal is an adult and it's this docile and this comfortable with human beings, how incredible it's gonna be. I just love the monitor lizards here at Nerd. It's been an amazing experience just kind of playing with them and getting to know them as much as I do, and I can't believe how they're treating them. I mean, these are truly urban dinosaurs. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. And as always, I'm Facebooking and tweeting my way through things. So make sure to follow me over at SnakeBytesTV or on Instagram at SnakeBytes.tv and now at Snapchat at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites.
I can take pretty gnarly animals that are very untrusting and win them over, and I'm watching other people doing it now. And those are my techniques that I just started doing, and when I see that, I feel very good that I've actually done something positive and that it's making a difference, and people are learning this, so people are learning this magic.
Do me a favor, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button for not only Snake Bites, but other awesome animal videos. And if you want to watch more Snake Bites videos, go ahead and click the link right here and just watch away.